Salut and welcome to Grailcast number 5. This episode is going to be all about plants and what you can do with them, particularly farming, and it's probably going to be a bit of a nature ramble. We're going to go and investigate what plants are out there in the world and what we can do with them. But I think first Noob is going to show us how to dig a well and do some irrigation. So over to Noob. Hello Noob. Right, so today we're going to actually start some farming, and the first thing we need to do is sort out the water supply, because plants are going to need a lot of water in order to grow. So the first thing we're going to do is dig a well and do some irrigation. Are you ready? Let's go. So we need to find a nice location for this well. We don't want to, actually we could stick the well, it doesn't really matter, we could stick the well round the back here, couldn't we? We could possibly use the walls of the house slightly, well, we could dig the ground out with our bare hands, couldn't we? We don't even really need a spade. So I'm just going to dig out a few nodes here. That should be big enough for our well. What can we make it out of? Well, we could make we've got 6 bits of stone there we could use as a base, and need to find some material to make a wall out of. Now we can build some walls. That should do. And now we get our buckets of water that we collected from the seaside, and we're going to do a little trick with the water, which is stick one in there and stick one in there, and then we can refill the buckets from the opposite corners, and you'll notice that the water fills up again. This is quite a handy little effect. It's, you could consider it a bit of a cheat, but it does work rather well. Now we need to actually dig our irrigation trenches. I'm just going to move these buckets of water out of the way for a moment, and start about there. We only need to have it 1 node deep, and I think we want the end to be about there. Is that right? Yeah, that's probably about right, and I'll just dig through like that, and we'll do something similar here, maybe make it a little bit smaller. Excellent. Now we can get our buckets of water out again, and we can fill up the trenches like this. We put a bucket of water in every other gap, and then we can refill the buckets from the trench. There we go, and the water will refill the spaces, and then we can do the same thing in this trench here. Bucket every other one, and then we can refill from the space before. So right click to place, left click to pick up, and there we go. And we've got our irrigation ditches working really nicely. So now we need to prepare the ground for planting, which means we're going to have to make another tool, and for this we're going to make a hoe. Now this isn't one of those silly little triangular Dutch hoes that you use for weeding the flower bed. This is a proper full backhoe, which is a bit like a cross between a pick and a spade. So there's our backhoe. I've decided to use copper to make this because copper is actually quite a good tool for making hoes. It doesn't last very long, but it is quite fast. So as the sun sets, is it that late already? We're going to just hoe around the irrigation ditch. Oh, well, we can't hoe, we need to just get rid of some of that grass. Can't hoe if something's growing on it. I don't know if you can see, probably it's a bit too dark actually, but the hoed ground near the water gradually gets saturated with water. So that means it's ready to start planting things. Let's get on with the hoeing. We need to make another hoe. We've only got 3 copper pieces left, so we may have to finish this job off with a steel hoe or even a stone hoe. We'll see how far we can get. Interesting. We also can't. Oh, I see. Obviously can't hoe ground that's got too many leaves on it, or things growing. Let's see if we can hoe. Oh, I can hoe that. Hoe that. Oh, we can hoe that. But we can't hoe that one. Oh, that's interesting. What we probably need to do with that one is, let's get we're finished with these buckets. Oh my goodness, we've got so many things, and just want to get a bare hand out. There we go. And then we can probably stick. Just needed to dig that one over a bit, and then we can hoe that perfectly fine. So let's see how much. Oh well, that's kind of run out there, and also that looks like a fairly good patch. Let's hoe over the other side, and we're going to have to use a steel hoe for this. In fact, to make this job a little bit faster, let's pull up all the grass first. There we go. And we can so As you can see, the steel hoe actually covered a lot more ground than the flimsy copper tool did. Let's just see if we can get a bit more space here. Don't know if this will work. Because the water only stretches so far. There we go, let's see. Now you can see the soil that's too far away from the irrigation ditch is actually turning back into soil because it can't get to the water, or the water can't get to it. Anyway, so that's it, that's the ground prepared, and now we're going to have to go on a bit of a field trip in order to find some things to plant. After a little bit of an explore, I found this area which seems to have lots and lots of different kinds of plants on it. As you can see, there's this one immediately in front of us, so let's grab that. And you see, when we grab it, we get 3 different kinds of things. We get some leaves, we get some red beet seeds, and we also get some beetroot, all off one plant. So that's quite fun. And what have we got there? We've got some fat hen, which is like greens. As you can see, we get quite a lot of stuff off these. Let's just move those. As you can see, we've got the stuff here that some of this is edible, some of it's really the seeds we're interested in. But let's see how much we can get before we completely fill up the inventory. So we've got some beans there. That's some more fat hen. These red flowers, roses, they're quite nice. Let's grab a few roses. They might look nice in the garden. What else have we got here? A bit more fat hen. Oh, look, that's a carrot. Fantastic. And there's, you get seeds with that too. Some beans. Marvellous. Let's grab a little bit more of all this. A few more carrots, maybe another rose. What else have we got? We've got plenty of sunflowers. Oh, what's that? Aha! It's a wild onion. Great. So we're going to have plenty of vegetables to plant when we get back. Now the other thing, before we run out of space in the inventory, we want to get some, I want to grow some grains as well. Now the way that you get grain seed is to look out for the long grass. Oh look, I can see some longer pieces of grass. Excellent, they are likely to provide what we want. We'll keep picking up grass. We can always slightly cultivate this. It's starting to get dark, so I'm going to head back to base and just grabbing as much. There we go. We've got some seeds. What sort of seeds are those? We've got some oat grains. So if we basically keep nabbing this long grass, eventually some of it will have some seeds in it, and I better be careful, because if I spend too long out here I'm going to start encountering monsters. But there's lots of lovely long grass here, and that's exactly what we want. Just gonna I think it's really time. Look, there's some dirt monsters. No, don't hurt me. Please run. Run back to safety. Sun's rising again, and we can get on with planting some seeds out. Incidentally, you can always tell where the east is because that's the direction the sun rises in every day on Grailtest. Before we get started, I think because we got hit by some dirt monsters last night, I'm just going to munch a couple of carrots to get strength back up, and let's see what we've got in the way of seeds and other interesting stuff we can plant out. Got a rose there which I might do something with fairly soon. Let's have a look. We want to plant the grass out as well in a minute. Oh, and we've got some barley grains and oat grains. Let's get rid of these roses for a moment. Gives a bit of space. I think we want some roses either side of the garden path. There we go. That looks rather nice. So it means I can now move barley grains over there, and we've got some wild onion, we've got some carrot seeds, we've got some beet seeds, and we've got some fat hen seeds. So let's put a clump of those in each corner. What have we got to start with? We've got wild onions to start with. So we can plant the onions straight in the ground like that. Oh, we managed to get quite a lot of those, didn't we? And then let's put the carrot seeds. This is all done by right clicking to place, just like you would place anything else. Let's plant some beet seeds over here. They've got some cute little sprouts. And fat hen. Fat hens, sort of like greens, medieval greens. So beet's very useful. You get both beetroot and beet leaves out of that, which is also like greens. Carrots, obviously, get carrots and onions. Great. And let's plant the barley and oats. Let's plant some oats over here. And let's plant some barley over here. Okay, that's us planted out and ready to get growing. I've just noticed we've got some beans in the inventory, so I'm going to find somewhere to plant those. There we go. And we've got loads and loads of grass there, which I think we can sort of spam around here. So it might attract the kind of animals that like to eat it, and also it means that we've got loads of grass that we can harvest to get more oats and barley seed as well. Lovely. So that's that. The other thing is we've got piles and piles of leaves, which always seem to accumulate when you're wooding. Now we can do some stuff with those leaves. We were looking in the inventory the other day, and it looks like we can actually we put 6 leaves. It doesn't. We can mix them up, 6 types of leaves in a pattern like that. We then get a lump of plant fibre. and we can gradually sort of mix and match until we get rid of all of those. That's it. So we've got 7 pieces of plant fibre, which I think is nearly enough to make a single piece of fabric. Obviously this method is going to be slow going, and we're probably going to be faster just taming some sheep, but we're not going to get around to doing that till the next episode. So yeah, there's an example of what you can do. Anyway, as you can see, plants are slowly starting to grow. The whole business of farming is really one of being rather patient. Our patience has finally been rewarded. We've got some oats, some ripe oats there, and some fairly ripe looking barley. It's not quite ready. I think some of these oats are. So start pulling them up, and you'll notice we get a sheaf of straw out of that and 2 oat grains. So quite a clever thing to do is to immediately replant the grains so they can start growing again as fast as possible. So we've got a few more oats out of that. I think this barley, oh there we go, look, see that's just ripened up, so we then get 2 barley grains, and the ripe ones, and yeah, you don't always get grains from the unripe ones, you see, so it's best not to pluck them before they're ripe. And we've got lots of onions here. They all look like fairly ripe onions. Let's see, and we get 5. Well, we do. Oh, you have to be careful with those because you might end up accidentally eating them. Well, we've got loads and loads of onions there, so let's save some of them to eat, and we'll plant out. Just plant a few in the corner there. Not very many ripe carrots. This looks like that. We've got that. So that gives us 2 more seeds, so we could extend them. We've got a ripe bean plant. Plant some more beans out of that. And let's have a look. These beet look reasonably good. Unfortunately, if you left click while you've got some of this in your hand, you're going to end up actually eating it, which isn't necessarily what you want to do. There we go, some more beet, and those look like ripe fat hen. Let me get some more seeds off that. So there we have it. In our inventory we've now got 14 sheafs of straw, we've got 16 onions, we've got a carrot, we've got some bean pods and some beet greens, we've got some fat hen greens, and we've got some beetroot. So we've got all the ingredients we need to cook a lovely meal. We'll do cookery in a future episode because I think we've run out of time, more or less. Well done, noob. It's time to celebrate your first harvest on Noob's farm. Well done, noob. We've got the farm up and running at last. And I think next episode we're probably going to look at taming animals and raising livestock on the farm. So that's going to be incredibly exciting. And then hopefully after that we'll have a cookery special. We'll see how things go. Meanwhile, have fun building some excellent things, and we'll see you next time.